Hello everybody and welcome to what is round 3 of Simcade League's F1 2022 League. I'm joined by a very special man, of course it is the Mr. Lance. How are you?
I'm pretty good, Miami today. That's going to be an interesting one.
Now obviously we've dragged you away from the depths of the cockpit, which you obviously would have been for this one. Are you a bit upset about that one?
Not particularly. It's Miami. I'll be honest. Not one of my favorite tracks, but it's fine. It's good for racing.
I can feel like you got a lot of love for Miami.
Oh, no, yeah. Let's leave it there, I suppose. Yeah. Oh. not much. Not much love lost, but yeah.
It's an interesting track, isn't it?
It's good to watch. That's the thing. It's a good one to watch, but it's not really good one to drive. But
well, if you remember last season, we did have the spectacular finish to the Miami Grand Prix, didn't we?
We did. I think it was Barenko and Extinct, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Are they both on the grid? I know that we have Extinct. I've seen him in the...
I think Barenko's having a bit of a break.
It's Barenko having a bit of F1 break. Extinct's in there, though, so you never know.
Absolutely.
We could still get the dizzy heights of what we did last time in Miami.
Oh, absolutely. But it looks like a very competitive grid. I'm actually very excited to see what we can muster up today as regards racing.
It is a very a stretched grid today, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We've got 18 on track.
Yeah, that's actually a good turnout. I think it's the best turnout we have so far of the season, is it?
Maybe one another. I think the first race did we have 19, so we nearly had a full grid, did we, the first race?
Oh, I think we did actually. You could be right.
Yeah, so...
absolutely. Let's see who's out on track.
Hello, Mikey. Hello, Yuki again. Oh, I did miss you last week. It was so quiet, wasn't it? It's been nice to have you back this week. I know I haven't been around much, but obviously I'm here tonight. Yeah, and home track, well, home ground, isn't it? Over in the US of A.
Oh, absolutely, for Yuki's home race, is it?
Yeah, well, and it's obviously one of his much-loved sports stadiums is there, isn't it? It's just like a bit of the American football next to the Miami Dolphins Stadium. Obviously, this is built in and around the complex, isn't it, of the Dolphin Stadium?
I believe so. I don't have much knowledge of sports, I'll be honest.
No, I think that's just my general knowledge of this track. Oh, he's from Florida as well, so it's pretty much his home, isn't it?
Yeah,
home from home.
Home city and everything.
Yeah.
Lucky boy.
From Florida. Man, I bet it's lovely there. We have a yellow flag as well already. I think that's a car just coming out the pit. Is that an AlphaTauri? It's out. It's Golf. He's already out.
Oh, yeah, he is actually. Hold on, let's see where I can see if I can find him. Did he crash in the pit lane?
I think it's just after. I can't see the car. I'm just on board at the moment with Danny, who I think is one of the first ones, or he is the first one that will be setting a competitive lap around here. So yeah, it's very strange that. Yeah,
I believe it is in the pit lane. It looked like it. It's gone now, but
in the pits.
That is a very odd incident.
Give over the insider knowledge. It is in the pits. Do we have any more insider information on how he did it, or is it accident? Did he drop it, or? That seems...
It is a tight exit, so it could have been an issue on the exit there that he just went straight on. I know he has no ABS, so they could have just had a lock up and straight into the barrier. And with F1's unforgiving kind of collisions with walls, I have a feeling that could have been something similar.
Yeah, that's interesting.
An odd start for him. I don't think he'd be thrilled because he didn't even get a lap in, so he'll probably be last, I'd say. Which... yeah. I suppose with the first corner here, maybe is kind of a blessing in disguise, but
this track just looks so beautiful on the spectator side of things, doesn't it? They did a great deal of work, because Danny's just at the first lap with a 1:30.3. Polyblar just behind that. That's quite an even match in there. And Ninja. It's a 1:29.2. That's something more of what we're going to be seeing. I think some of the faster boys like Rosa, Cornish back this week as well. So yeah, we'll be seeing. Yuki saying it's pretty busy. I think that's a poor excuse, that Lance, isn't it? To be fair.
Exactly, absolutely.
Yeah, I have
make room for F1 all the time.
Let's make room for us. I have no sympathy for people that say that they're busy. It's horrific. No, I'm joking. I was very busy yesterday. That's why I was out and about. So I couldn't make yesterday. Otherwise, you would have had me instead of. Who ended up doing it in the end?
I believe it was a point of view stream.
Oh, was it? Oh no,
yes.
that's really sad. I'm sorry. Oh no, I am not desperate. I don't like letting down the team. Really.
Yeah, I suppose there was just no one because Ninja was looking to race, so I'd say there was just no one around. But yeah, these things happen.
Absolutely. As Gibbo sets a 128.0 on his first lap. We're still on board with Danny. I don't know why. Sorry, apologies. I haven't been flicking through the old drivers. William the King obviously had that very good performance first time out last week. Can he carry on with that?
It was in a very impressive performance, actually. I think it was well within the top 10. And I think, unfortunately, he just got caught in a racing incident. But he'll be out to prove it was just, or it wasn't just a flash in the pan. I'd say he'll be quite competitive here. Definitely looking at the times he's setting, or he's setting in the sectors.
He is. I'll just get the sector times up. I don't have them up at the moment. I don't know why. Again, I'm a bit.
It's organised.
Do you know what? It's just been one of those weeks where you just wish it was over very, very quickly.
Yeah, I know it well.
Extinct and Gibbo's times are within 2 thousandths of a second. That is extremely impressive. I just noticed that going on the time screen.
Incredibly impressive, actually.
And then a couple of tenths faster at Mons, obviously showing what he can do around.
2 tenths up, absolutely.
Yeah. Again, still very competitive at the top end of the grid. We've still got Cornish on an outlap, but we are with William the King at the moment. Just seeing.
And Raza 6 tenths down on Mons there, so not the most competitive time from Raza. Maybe just kind of a banker safer lap, just to make sure he's.
We did see this. We did see this last week, didn't we? How he took him his last attempt to get a good lap in. We've got no Adam Golden Flame this week, so yeah, it was a bit of a strange one, wasn't it? Qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like last week, I know I find generally how I do it is I do a banker. I push a little harder on the second lap, and on the third lap, I just go for leather. Hell for leather, and see if I can do it. But
I tend to do that in ACC. You have to get that lap in, don't you? You have to be set. Put something on the board.
Absolutely,
because otherwise you sell yourself short. Otherwise, don't you?
I believe we just had another retirement there. Danny.
Yep. I'm not quite sure where that. I think that's turn 1 and 2.
It could have been. The car must have disappeared before I got to see it. But yeah, that's an odd one there.
Yuki's excited about the newcomers that we have to the league. It's nice to have new players, and we have a lot of PlayStation drivers. So the reason why that'll be, I'll tell you, before the game went crossplay, we were primarily PlayStation. So that is the reason why. And then obviously when it's crossplay, people have started to migrate over, and we've accepted the heathens from the other sides. Of the console areas, so that's why as well that you see a lot of PlayStation drivers,
and a few of the Xbox ones. Now, obviously, we only have Danny tonight, but
we don't
have a couple of more. Yeah,
those
people.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have a few of those as well, like Danny, obviously, and Stevie and Dodo.
Yeah. Dodo, yeah, exactly. You could name them before I could.
Absolutely.
Just shows you're more aware than I am.
Absolutely. We've got Cornish back today. I think he's missed a couple of weeks.
Just on board with Cornish at the moment. He doesn't seem to be setting the world alight. He's down the back straight at the moment. Just coming into the last corner. If you keep it nice and tidy, it's going to be within, an area. But I don't think it's the most perfect lap that he could have wished for. But let's see as he comes around the last kink, as it is. And there you go, P4. So yeah, it was okay, that lap, wasn't it? It's just what you need. And again, it's on the board. Probably
kind of equal with Raza's, really, if you kind of count in track evolution and stuff like that. So
yes, yeah.
Decent time, and I'd say he'll be probably neck and neck with Raza once we get going.
Cornish Mantis, obviously, on track as well. I think he had a bit of a slap on the wrist for last week, but we won't go too much into that. The stewards were a little bit angered about some of the things that got happened and said, but it's all over and done with. Everybody's happy, and we're back to racing. We don't like to leave anybody out here, do we?
Well, that's the thing. The stewards box is for sorting these incidents out, and once they're sorted out, they're kind of in the past, when we move on, and hopefully he'll kind of perform well here. He's doing 7th so far, which is kind of an impressive time.
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes.
It is definitely, yeah. August as well. It's nice to see him back and consistently making back-to-back races. He was missing for a large chunk of last season, but it's nice to have the old faces and nice to have a mixture of new ones, like Yuki's saying. It's exciting, isn't it? Chucks a bit of a spanner in the works keeps the new guys, old guys on their toes, really, doesn't it? Oh, there's been a spin there as well. I think that was Mitch in the background. Who was that in the background?
I believe so.
No,
it was
Aston
actually
Martin.
William the King, is it? Oh no, hang on, Aston Martin. Oh,
yes, was it?
Could have been Extinct, was it? Down the back straight?
Might have been. Yes, it was. It was
Yes,
definitely a
that
car
is
going
Extinct.
sideways.
Yes.
Cornish Mantis has backed out that, and 5-place grid penalty there for Rosa. I
That's
think we might have
odd,
another one of
actually,
these little tapping incidents again, like we had last week, where
Yes.
somebody picked up a 5. Was it you? It was.
It
wasn't
was indeed me. Yes.
Oh, right. So I think he's hit into the crashed car of Cornish Mantis.
It could have been actually that. That is a good point, and unfortunately, just the way the game is, you can't remove these penalties. So, unfortunately, he's just going to have to start 5 places down from where he's qualifying. But look, it'll be a more interesting race for us, I suppose. Seeing him battle
when it
through.
sinks around, it's just showing that either everybody, as Gibbo puts in the fastest lap of the qualifying so far with a 127.7. That's impressive.
Very, very good time.
Yes,
absolutely.
I do know a bit of inside knowledge from Gibbo. He's been hanging out with some esports dudes this week. He's been with
I've
Williams.
heard that.
Now,
Some
I think he might have been
famous
picking up a
faces.
few tricks and tips here.
I believe he
off them
picked up a
boys.
setup from
out.
no other than what is it, Alvaro Carreton, I think.
What?
The
That's sick.
Williams esports fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very impressive. And definitely, it's obviously working.
So somebody's got some Discord names and numbers here, have they? So they've been
absolutely.
As
Mons comes around, and I don't think did he not improve, or is he just on his?
No, I think he's just on. It looks like a very slow lap. It might be going very fast for all I know. It doesn't look very fast.
It didn't. It looked like an outlap, the first one, but he isn't kind of ripping the timesheets apart.
No, it's 10 seconds down, so he might be doing like a double push on these tyres.
Or kind of a double outlap is what it seems, because he's done 1 lap on the outlap. So it's interesting.
And it looked to me like Rosa improved, which has put him within a 10th of Extinct. A couple of tenths still off Mons. He does need to improve. He has jumped Cornish in that as well, which, yeah.
Absolutely, that's his kind of second lap. So obviously he'll push now. He's only a couple of tenths off. He found a couple of tenths that lap. So obviously, if he finds another couple of tenths again, he'll be fighting. He's just off of Extinct, so all he needs to do is find a small bit more.
Down 4 tenths at the moment as Mons just skips over the little chicane bump. So yeah, he's 2 seconds off. Yeah, he's 2 seconds down as well. So it must be an in lap for all these guys. Reset to track for the last run.
Simi coming to the line there now. Let's see what he can do. He's just coming into the pits. Never mind.
Yuki said they're going to have to survive the highway chicane. Yeah, it's an interesting little bump, that isn't it? Uphill.
It is,
jump.
And it's a huge challenge. It's definitely a huge challenge. You need the exact correct line, or you lose so much of time through there. It's a very, very kind of a challenging part. You think you've gotten through the challenging part with the first couple of sectors, and then you come across that.
You can't see it. It's very blind, isn't it? Especially if you're doing it in cockpit. It's uphill. It's a very strange corner. I mean, I can't see why anybody would want that in a game, but it is when you do it right, it's satisfying.
Yeah, there's a kind of a protruding barrier there as you come in on the left, so it's kind of the whole thing. You can't really see it until you come to it. And you kind of just have to, kind of throw the car in and see if it sticks.
It's believe in your car, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So the top 7 all in the pits now. I think Mitch is the only one on a flyer. Oh, Footy's actually on a flyer.
I'm just on board with Mitch. Talking to Mitch, yeah. It was very close to not making it tonight.
Oh dear.
Was
he just late home or?
No, he was just working, and I think he's a bit fatigued, as he like to put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't think he really understands the meaning of fatigue. He dives into the pits, doesn't he?
He's obviously abandoned that lap. I think he was 2 seconds down coming along the straight. So that's obviously
Jack's doing some donuts just outside of the pit lane. I think that's twice he's dropped outside the pit lane.
Yeah, that first lap isn't particularly where he'd like to be. I know he's switched back to medium TC, so hopefully he'll be a bit more consistent. We know he is quick on the day. It's just he's had issues, kind of with the car. So hopefully with this switch to medium TC, he'll be somewhere closer to where he'd like. It'll be interesting to see.
Extinct. No, Lance is not racing. Unfortunately, he's with me.
Yes.
I mean, if I was going to pull anybody out of driving, it probably wouldn't have been. I'm joking. It would have been you.
Yeah. After my season start, I don't really mind. Kind of few kind of incidents. I think I've written this season off for good performance. Anyway, I might have a few good races, but I don't think the championship result is going to reflect.
You are leading the charge in the GT7, though, aren't you still?
Absolutely. It's one of my favourites, and definitely it's been a new challenge with the physics change. So, I think I've hit the ground running with it.
I've been dabbling a bit more. I don't know if you've seen me on a couple of times on GT7.
I have seen your name on the sport mode.
Yes. I've been. Yes. I did the Group 4 daily the other day.
In Road Atlanta, is it this week?
Or was it last week's? Was it last week's?
I believe so. I think we've lost Ninja actually.
We have. He's had a little bit of an incident. He's just given up. There's 2 minutes.
I think he's given up. He's sitting in the pit lane at the moment. I think he might have just ran out of tires or something. But he's going to be going no further. Neither is Craig actually. I think that's also in the pits.
Yep.
So
him and Polly Villar have had a interesting time at the back of the grid this past couple of weeks, haven't they? They've been quite close on pace.
Absolutely. I was expecting a huge improvement as regards Craig, but I think he's struggling this one. This time he's switched to wheel now, and he's definitely a huge improvement on GT7, but it's yet to see any improvement on F1. Unfortunately,
is he running wheel for this? Is it?
I believe so. I gave him settings a few days ago, I think. But unfortunately, he's not having a fun time here because he's after retiring. So.
It's what I would say with F1. It's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's learning a whole different way of driving, essentially.
The cars feel different. The steering doesn't feel as natural as what it does with every other sim.
It doesn't. It's much more arcadey. It's much more kind of line heavy, and you're not as kind of incentivized to correct as much as other games.
Yeah, from what I found whilst I was having a quick practice on the F2 cars is they sort of drive it for you, if that makes any sense. With the the GT3 cars, you can feel that you're fighting with the car and moving with the car. With these, I just feel like it when it steers and then you just lose all feeling. I don't know whether that's a G29 thing, but they just sort of disappear.
No, absolutely. I think that's just the way the physics in the game is, and maybe it could be similar to the cars in real life with the amount of downforce. I suppose it just kind of glides along the corner. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting car to drive, or an interesting challenge. It has been for me because I was always a GT7 head. So to come over to F1, it is definitely a change, and it was a nice change. And
there's an Aston Martin around that's extinct. I think he's around the other side. His teammate's going to come around the corner now. I think he just clears him as extinct. That's going to be the end of his qualifying.
And it's the end of qualifying, so all drivers on the track now will be finishing their laps and seeing what they can do. I think Simi's coming across the line. He's come 8th. There's also a Ferrari on the way. That's Mitch. He's going to come from 12th, and he doesn't improve, I don't think. He's 10th down.
Just on board with Mons at the moment. He's just coming down the back straight. Can he improve on his P2 and get into pole position? He's 10th behind Gibbo. She'd like to be in front of Gibbo, really, wouldn't he, for the start? Obviously, we know Roz has finished. He's going to pick up that 5-second grid penalty for some strange reason. The game decided to throw him as he crosses the line. Mons, where's this going to put him? It does put him into pole, a couple of tenths up, but we do have Gibbo as well down the back straight as well. So this could be interesting.
Yes.
I think he was
Gibbo's 3 tenths down, or 4 tenths down by the end of it, actually. So that's unfortunate.
It looks like that's going to be stick. We've got August as well. He's just coming around. They caught a bit of a wobble there as he hits the line. Yeah, so Extinct's not going to be able to finish his lap. He's going to have to dive to the pits, and Gibbo does abandon that lap in the end. So, end of qualifying. Hello, V2. Who else we got? William. Hello, he messed up as well. I think everybody was struggling.
I mean, it looks like it. It looks like it was a huge challenge. There was a few drivers that spun and a few drivers that have been completely eliminated from the session. It'll be interesting now. Everyone obviously that's set a time in kind of the 6th to 10th area will be getting an improvement of 1. Obviously with Rosa's penalty, he's going to be starting from 10th, I believe.
Just a quick one, guys, just before I reel off the thing is, don't forget to if you're liking what you see here, it does help us a lot. If you're liking the commentary and the racing, of course. Right, let's go through the grid then. Starting our pole position for the Miami Grand Prix is Mons, followed by Gibbo, a couple of 10th and a bit just behind him, and then Cornish does manage to get that car up to P3 after Rosa's penalty. Oh no, it's not after Rosa's penalty. I'm not sorry. With Extinct, Rosa, Ninja, August, Simi, Cornish, Mantis, and Footy round up the top 10 with Rob, Mitch, William the King, Jack, Danny, Polyblar, Craig, Golf. Not even getting out of the pit lane. He feels like a bit of a twit for that. But
yeah, I can imagine.
It happens, doesn't it? It's happened to the best.
It happens to the best of us. Exactly. That's the one. Obviously, the Ninja will be really happy with that 6th place, or sorry, what will turn into 5th place by the end of it. He's having a good season so far, so that's obviously capitalizing on my absence, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of doing it, isn't it?
Absolutely, most definitely, and a mighty performance from him. But quite a few drivers struggling there.
So Rosa picking up the penalty, Extinct, for, I believe, tapping Cornish Mantis' car.
It was a contact with another car, and I believe that was Cornish Mantis, who had already retired. So it'll be interesting to see what went on there. The stewards probably maybe hearing about it. I'm not sure.
I think it's one of those you can't get rid of a penalty.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I know it well, as it happened to me, but it's just these things happen, I suppose. And I'm sure Rosa is one of the best for it to happen to, because he'll have no issue racing through the grid. And,
yeah, I think it could put a lot of pressure on somebody, can't it? That's wanting to perform. Really does it. Like, I know it didn't put a lot of pressure on you last week, but it's frustrating, isn't it? Because you just think, why has it happened to me? But it's so nonny for it.
Absolutely, and I think I was lucky that I kind of got a few cars off the line, so it didn't really affect me. But I know Rosa will have no issue. As I say, he's not a peak pace driver. He is quite up there. But what is astonishing to me is his consistency is off the wall. He's just every single lap he hits every apex, and gets every kind of little thing right. You know.
I'm not going to tell him you said that. I'm not going to tell him you said that, because he's a former champion here. You know that, don't you?
I do. I know he's incredible, but
I'm joking.
And I was right behind him on what is it, Monday for F2. So I think I have one of the best kind of seats in the house to see it. So as we go to formation lap, we'll have a look.
And we'll just check out the tyres, what everybody's running at the moment. Yuki saying that the Hard Rock Stadium looks pretty accurate. It does. It looks very impressive, to be fair. Codmasters did a good job of creating that one, didn't they?
They did,
as
indeed.
The crowd go wild for the cars to hit the track. So, tyres then, we've got Mons and Gibbo electing to use the hard tyres along with Extinct, August, Rosa. Who else have we got down there? Well, they're the back 5. So we've got Jack, Danny, Polyblar, Craig, and Golf. If that was 5, or was it 6? No, it's 5. I was right. And then the rest of them are Cornish, Ninja, Simi, Cornish Mantis, Footy, Rob, Mitch, and William the King all decided to have the grippier tyres for the start of the Grand Prix. There was some talk about underfueling. Polyblar saying if he underfueled, he is absolutely screwed. Let's hope that he didn't. Let's hope he got that one right.
Yeah, a bit of paraphrasing there, but
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I think we
I'm
all
not
know.
gonna. Yeah.
Our drivers aren't the cleanest mouths in the game, but
No. I did say this the other week, didn't I? Saying that I don't really spill up on that stream when I'm commentating.
well, absolutely, and kind of very kind of you kind of have to, I suppose. It's kind of I suppose the drivers they get emotional as they're going around, so I kind of understand that, you know.
It is.
I suppose Jack and Danny at the back of the medium runners, I'd say they're just they can bide their time on the hards, and as long as they can kind of keep up, once they get onto that second stint, they'll be very nice on those mediums, or sorry, on those mediums once they switch to them. Rosa, interestingly going with the hards for the later medium stint. So obviously he'll do his push through the grid on the hards, and then he'll be more competitive at the end once he's hopefully gotten through the field. But let's see as they line up on the grid.
I've just noticed that a lot of drivers are struggling with the rear end grip here, really losing it.
I find it is a track issue more than anything else, because it's a very, very slippery track is what I find. Something I struggle with is the rear end on this track.
As we wait for the countdown, there we go. We start. We've got 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we hold.
Here we go.
And we're away. And it all looks clean from the angle that I've got so far. It looks like everybody getting away, wiggling about. A few people. There's everybody across the track. The front three got a tube going side by side. Gibbo not giving any room.
Nice move. Ooh, beautiful.
Was just seeing that. He's got himself up to P4. He's going to round the outside of pretty much everybody there. He's under a bit of pressure there from Extinct, but he does have the inside line, keeping it tight around there. 2x2. Pretty much Simi, I think, following Ninja there, which is fantastic to see as well. As the top 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they do get away nice and cleanly, so that's nice.
Absolutely, and some of the biggest losers there being Jack, unfortunately, with what I assume was a spin, and William, the King, also having some issues. I saw August just kind of got wrestled out there, so he'll be kind of nipping at the butt on those hard tires.
We'll Craig.
Gets on.
Craig getting side by side with Rosa. He's getting fighty with the wheel, isn't he?
Absolutely, wow, incredible.
Dipping out of the way there as the car's just rejoining the track in front of him.
It looks like just having some more issues, but Craig wrestled him off, to be fair.
Tell you what, looking at his driving inputs, it looks very smooth. You can tell he's on wheel now. It looks it's awfully smooth.
Absolutely, with a suboptimal qualifying, he's really impressing here. 7 places he's gotten. That's more than anyone else on the track ×2. It's an incredible.
He's even getting out of the way of the toe behind him. A bit of an early break there, but obviously that's just the nervousness probably of who is around. And
absolutely, with Footy in August kind of challenging him. That's He's and brilliant. Up to 9th now he is. That's incredible driving from Craig so far.
I'm rooting for some Craig points here. I am.
I am too, absolutely.
And if I've put the curse on that, apologies. But I'm definitely rooting. Again, we are seeing the top 2 still within 0.2 of a second. They're not leaving each other alone.
Absolutely, not huge gaps here. There's still a lot of gaps between or within the second. Ninja up to 4th. A really impressive start from him, jumping Extinct.
Now we have had August and Rosa pit. I don't know whether that's for minor damage, but they've jumped onto the medium tyres. So that is their mandatory pit stop over and done with. And to be honest, they're not that far away. Probably, I'd say, safety car bound for this track. It's very tight. There's yellow flags set to 1, 2, and 3. There we go. It's not a safety car, it's a virtual safety car. It is. I'm not quite sure what that's for.
I'm not sure either, but I'm going to have a look through the grid. Someone may have lost a wing, so I'll try and see if I can see anyone struggling. There's a Alpine missing wing. That's William the King Cowery with no wing.
He doesn't need that, does he? He was on for...
He doesn't. Absolutely.
Impressive. Rob managing to find himself up to P8 as well.
Very impressive. Three positions gained. Very, very nice. Golf coming up through the pack on those hards as well. He's definitely trying to minimize the damage from that qualifying crash. So,
just to sum up the first 3 laps as DRS is enabled and we're back racing, Ninja obviously finding himself in a bit of a spicy position at the start of the race, but we don't have a replay, which was a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane for William the King as well. It's not what you need. there. But we're going to start doing some replays very soon when I can get my Stream Deck, because obviously I've just moved into a rig. So when I can get my Stream Deck moved about, I can start doing that. But it looked like he got that car planted and sweet around the outside of a couple of cars, and his old buddy, old pal Simi, coming through with him as well, which is fantastic to see.
Now, interestingly, Rosa into the pits on those hards
again, and August as well.
There was actually a wing change for Rosa, so maybe there was contact between William the King or August or Rosa, because with all three of them coming into the pit lane, and obviously William getting stuck with that 5-second penalty. But yeah, not looking the best for Rosa unless he can kind of claw something back here on those hards. I suppose he'll take them to the end of the race, but he'll be hoping that there's no safety cars or safety cars.
Hit the wall at the chicane. I think he's lost an end plate, and that doesn't allow Craig. Oh no, Craig! Oh, what's going on there?
And Jack has taken a lot of benefit off of that one. He's now challenging Golf himself. Jack was struggling there to get through the kind of the line of cars, but he's back up to a 10th now after suboptimal qualifying. He'll be very, very happy with this on the hards.
I think Craig they're a bit hesitant to where to place his car then after the incident. I think that's probably what I would suspect is a bit of awareness with the wheel, isn't it? Where you're not quite sure on what the angles you're inputting and what you're doing. Obviously, you've got to learn very, very quick, like we were saying before, and it's a totally different ball game. So he just dive up the inside there from Danny as I'm saying it. Yeah.
No, he's definitely making use of that wheel. It's a very impressive.
I think I might just stay on board with him.
He'll be very, very, very impressive.
I think I might just stay on board with him all day.
I wouldn't blame you. As Gibbo now coming on the back of Cornish, has the DRS, but so does Cornish. He's gonna have a look, but I think he's thinking otherwise. He does. That's brought Cornish into Monza's slipstream as well, so they're very, very close up the front. Ninja keeping in touch with them. He's only a couple of tenths out of the DRS there now, so.
He is being hurried along by Extinct, isn't he? Which is not really. Extinct gets an absolute slapper there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, bit of a tough situation here for Ninja, isn't it? Really being hunted down by Extinct. It looks like there's going to be a bit of DRS assisted overtake there. It does up the inside. It's done before the corner. Absolutely. It's a bit of a shame, but it's been right place, right time. Our man Ninja, hasn't he? He's and Cornish and Gibbo going side by side down the main straight at the moment. They're not giving each other an inch of track either. It looks like this is helping Gibbo, this setup. I think it's very impressive.
And it's definitely helping Extinct and Ninja, because they're both it's pulling them into the DRS of the top three, which will be very, very helpful of pulling them along essentially. Ninja, as you said, capitalizing on kind of the mishaps of the front few, and for the first couple of races, I think he scored a podium in one of those, didn't he?
He did the first race out. Yeah, he was sort of bemused why he was there. To be fair,
absolutely. I think he was just kind of circumstance that led him to get it, and it was, and you know, you have to be there. And he keeps tabs with the front of them. He's not always fighting with them, but what he does do is keep tabs with them. Now, I think William the King Curry also gone around again, so I think he's just struggling in that Alpine today. He's just not kind of, it's not gelling with him. It is a slippery track, as you mentioned earlier, so
it is a very it's a difficult track. It's a new track to the game, so I think they made it as green as possible, as they like to say in F1, didn't they?
Well, absolutely. You know, kind of stuff like Spa, kind of everyone knows, but once you switch to something new like Miami, not everyone is kind of up to speed with the game, you know, and everyone doesn't keep on top of the kind of the new tracks that come in. But yes, as you say, it's kind of a bit greener as well. It's a bit slippier. Obviously hasn't been used as a track more than kind of once or twice, has it? No,
there's a 5-second penalty there for Footy for speeding in the pit lane. Something that he could do with that. Apologies to anybody who can hear my seat squeaking. It's very audible. Apologies to that. I'll get the WD-40 out later.
I believe it's a wing change for Footy, so obviously a lot of people struggling with the walls on this track, or potentially it could have even been a contact with the car, but that promotes Craig back up into 12th. So he's on the periphery of that point. So all he needs is a couple more incidents up ahead of him.
It's the man to keep an eye on tonight,
be
isn't
looking
it?
At. Absolutely, and on those hards, he'll be much happier on the mediums later on. So
yeah,
definitely a man to watch.
As Ninja's getting his catching. Sorry, extinct. I'll get out of there eventually. It's catching extinct.
Absolutely. And on those hards, I think the extinct isn't getting away from as quick as he'd like, unfortunately. But
no.
Definitely, as long as Ninja can keep in touch with these front few, I think he'll be looking good. On
Gibbo's going to pull out on Cornish, and he does. It looks like that's going to be done, and he's pulled back inside before the corner. So that's the sort of thing that he was looking for last time around. That he did, it managed to get done, and now on to Mons, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, very impressive driving here. As I say, Gibbo is. He's definitely looking pretty racy today. It's times where Gibbo kind of isn't where he'd like to be, but definitely today he's right up there, getting a bit of a slide through the first corner there. Cornish is keeping him honest here.
Yuki sort of tempting fate by saying that he did say that they weren't going to survive the highway chicane. So he sort of knew that this one was coming. I think we knew that people were going to struggle in a couple of places around here. The traction zones are a bit strange. Coming out the last corner before the back straight, that's another one, isn't it? Just before the chicane, after the chicane, sorry, as you duck under the bridge.
Absolutely.
That's the one that catches people out a lot.
Yeah, what I'd like to call lateral traction zones, where you're kind of you're turning and going on the power at the same time. They're very challenging here, as I say, because of the green track, as you called it.
This sort of sector 3 is sector 2 and 3, the chicane. Then after that, you got the left-hander. Just as you are turning right, and then it's a quick flick left, and it's really difficult to sort of get right. You can take a lot of different lines so they keep tight or drag the car out wide. But it's a bit of a... You want to get the best line to come out of the straight, really, don't you? Because you need all that straight, as Gibbo's looking to get past Mons there. Oh, and Cornish late on the brakes there. Mr. Danny Rick himself, isn't he?
Very, very impressive. I have to say, that was a beautiful move.
Craig seems to have lost a players to Footy there, but Footy does have penalties back down in P13. Polly Blar, great performance so far for him. And Jack then 9th to 10 respectively at the moment.
I believe Golf is right on the back of William now. He's done his stop, so he'll be trying to make up the time he lost on that stop that he had to do after that contact with the wall earlier.
We'll jump on board with them because I think they're just about to come down the main straight now, aren't they? With Cornish Mantis second behind. He's going to go around the outside here. That's an interesting way of doing that. There's enough room left. From William the King there. He's continued to go side by side into the main straight, and it looks like that's job done there for Golf. Keep it tied. No, I'm sorry, William the King.
Absolutely, yeah. He's beautiful straight line speed down that first straight.
Yeah, they go side by side into turn 1 and 2. This is carrying on, but allowing Cornish Mantis to. They're not going to go 3 into here, surely.
No, but that has worked out perfectly for Mantis. If he can keep it, he's decided to think against it and kind of hang in William's slipstream here now. He might get him through the long straight. Now, Williams' red light is flashing, so he's out of ERS. He's only on... he's down onto 14%, actually. So he won't be in too good of a position here. Cornish Mantis with a 70% ERS, so he'll be pushing here now to try and get past William the King.
So there's a lot of things with this game to have to worry about, isn't there? Because you've got your tyres, which... don't last that long, unlike ACC or GT7, and then you've got fuel as well, and then also ERS. It's a hard one to manage, the ERS, because it's constantly recovering, but you feel like you have to use it to defend and attack, and there's a fine line, isn't there?
Absolutely. It's definitely a hard one to manage. Those three things, as you mentioned, while driving the car as well, is definitely one of the challenges. Now, I think there's a Ferrari round. Is it Mitch? It is Mitch. He's I don't think there's damage there, but he's lost a lot of time with a big spin.
Yeah. That's allowed Polly Blar and Jack to get through, and Rosa is now starting to make up the ground as well, with Danny just getting past Mitch as well, so struggling to... You've got to keep them tyres now
in that window, you know.
Yeah, you can't thrash the tires now because otherwise you will just ruin them.
Exactly, and then once you kind of throw them in a corner, they'll just completely reject it. Now, Polly Belair is incredibly impressive here. He's keeping on the back of Jack.
Yeah.
Keeping Jack honest in 9th place, which is in or just outside the points. But if he can get past Jack here, he will be in the points. I think that will be his first points in F1 in Simcade League.
It will. Right, so this is a statement and a half, and I don't wish this upon our top men at all. But you can just put, don't be surprised if Mons, Cornish, and Gibbo get a DNF from the highway chicane. I mean, that's chucking something out there from our top boys.
It is. Now, Cornish had a bit of a slide there, so I think Extinct will be on him here.
I'm just going to go on board. Yeah, it's 2 tenths between them.
Absolutely. So B's on flowers here. He's having a really, really good look. He's down to 4 tenths, even closer now. He'll have DRS down the straight. He'll definitely be chomping at the bit, looking for that 3rd place, that podium, if he can keep it.
You're right, but it is a challenge, and it wouldn't surprise me if you do lose somebody to the chicane because
absolutely,
I'm pretty sure you could send an F1 car flying through there if you were going fast enough.
Yes, absolutely, and people like Gibbo and Cornish, they're on controllers, so they don't have the fine control that people like Mons and actually, surprisingly, and Rob and those have. But actually, interestingly enough, I think most of the top boys here are on controller and not wheel.
I think it. As difficult as F1 has been this season, I think it is the easier one to run as a controller. It's not too bad.
Absolutely, it's a bit more accessible, I think, is the thing on controller. Now, I don't find that. I find the complete opposite, and I can't use F1 on controller at all. But I think that's just personal preference. Or maybe I'm a bit odd.
Well, I think that's what the Codemasters and EA have still strived to bring in, isn't it? You know, you don't have to spend thousands of pounds to be the best at this game. You can, was it Pieface when they did the couple of esports ago when he was on a controller? So, you know, you can still, it's still, like I say, it's accessible, isn't it?
Absolutely, you know, you can just kind of pick it up in your front room and start racing is the intention there, you know?
Yep. You can still be mighty quick.
Absolutely. And Polly Belair keeping in touch with Jack here. He's not going for overtakes, he's just keeping in the slipstream, keeping in the DRS, and kind of being pulled along. It's a very impressive performance for him so far. Mitch also into the pits, getting rid of those medium tires, which I'm sure are kind of destroyed after that spin he had earlier.
As Mitch's in the pits at the moment as well. I think he's getting rid of them dreadful tires that he had. The spinning as Rosa and Craig make up a couple of places there as well. I don't think they've had any the top boys pit as we are 11 laps out of 29 completed so far. It's a very long track, quick track, long, but a lot of laps here, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. A bit laborious, I find sometimes. You drive and you're like, oh, I'm here again at the chicane. Now, Extinct just pass Cornish down the back straight with the DRS. Yep. Not sure if Cornish will come back at him here. That'll be interesting to see. But what a drive Extinct has got out of that corner. They're both relatively similar on ERS, so it's going to be interesting to see. I think Cornish has marginally a bit more. But a very impressive overtake there by Extinct. It'll be interesting to see once the tires change. Cornish on the mediums, whereas Extinct on the hards. It might come back to Cornish once he gets onto the harder tires. He might be more comfortable on them. I find harder tires are more predictable around here, but it's hard to know. As Rob comes into the pit lane, as does Simi. So both of those coming in for the switch to new tires.
Indeed, yeah.
Simi's gone to hards, and Rob has gone to also hards.
It's nice to see Extinct getting his elbows out. He does like this track, as we know from last season. He did, don his racing gloves and definitely went to town last season with Miami. So, it's Cornish, I think, struggling a bit the start of the season, along with Rosa. Rosa's not having the start of the season that they'd like to know. He picked up a podium as his yellow flag to sector 1. We know what that is.
Is that Alpine again, that's William the King Cowie. Unfortunately, he's just having a mare of a day around this place. He's just clipped the wall again. He's just not having the race he'd like around here. I suppose with the traction, it's just not one of his favorite tracks by the looks of it.
No. Gibbo's still hunting down and sticking with Mons again. That setup's doing him absolutely sublimely. Polybilar and Simi having a bit of a quiet race. Just seems to be a bit of a lone. He is right at the back of Jack. They're going side by side into the last corner around the outside.
Simi will be hoping he doesn't get held up too much here because he's the top stopped driver at the moment.
Yeah.
He'll be looking to try and make up some time. He's past Jack now, but Jack does have the DRS. He'll be looking to kind of make up some time while the others haven't pitted yet, and maybe jump them with that undercut. Be interesting to see.
I think what we find here at Simcade is a lot of our drivers, especially the big boys, you know, the people that are champions or, you know, close to being champions. A lot of people have a lot of other commitments, and I think sometimes Simcade is just a bit of a let loose release. I don't think a lot of pressure is on a lot of people, because I know that the likes of Rosa, Cornish, Cornish Mantis, all do cost, don't they? And I think that puts a lot of pressure. We've obviously got a couple of the Inters boys and Intercore lads as well. So I think as Gibbo looks like he's the closest he is side by side there through the last corner with Mons as well.
Side by side. Oh, he's giving him room. But I think it'll be Gibbo in the lead as we come to the first corner. They're side by side completely. Gibbo has the inside line. There's a bit of contact there. Gibbo with a bit of a slide. That'll be interesting to see. But Mons keeping going in first there now.
I don't think that was a malicious attack. I think it just was a bit of a sideways slide there from Gibbo that just sort of tapped him into Mons. But both still driving. That's all that matters.
Mighty job from Gibbo to keep that car straight, because we know how unforgiving the contact model can be on this game.
It is, yeah. Not as bad as GT7's, punt and see you later, but it's pretty. Some things I've seen is pretty strange.
On this game, I suppose it's just punt and you go in doing pirouettes, whereas on GT7 it is kind of punt and then you're pulling an elastic band, you know.
It's it's a bit more of a not realistic, but it's a bit more of the way of what would actually happen, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's slightly, I suppose, kind of realistic, but I think the most realistic we have here in Simcade is ACC with its kind of tap and it stays on the road.
Yes, yeah. Well, you see, these cars are 2 meters long, though. They were a bit more than probably 2 meters, aren't they?
Absolutely. As Stranger Craig, unfortunately, picking up a penalty going into the pit lane.
Didn't need that.
Just unfortunate.
But
I think everyone's struggling here with that pit lane line. It's very, very early as you come into the pits. Earlier than you expect.
I think it just keeps Mons on his toes, though. This does it. It's a gentle reminder that, hello, I am still here, and I'm not going to leave you alone.
Absolutely. I think a wing change from Craig as well, so he's kind of struggling with this track, I suppose, on the wheel. Not probably not the best track to start on as regards wheel.
And William the King did. He did.
He did bring it in pits and retire. Unfortunately, he just had enough.
That's...
And I understand that's you have one of those days where it never goes right.
Such an American thing, this, isn't it? Just listen to this. Pit road,
yeah, absolutely.
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's NASCAR, that, isn't it? Or IndyCar.
Yeah, with pit lane, it's kind of like all covered over and stuff. But when I hear pit road, I always think of somewhere like Daytona with the big long concrete line. You know.
Do you know what? That's impressive, by the way, Daytona.
Absolutely, it's an amazing place. I've been around it in a NASCAR in the passenger seat. It's an awesome place.
Yes, same. Yeah, it is.
Really, really cool.
Absolutely, it's what you want to be doing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was around it, he went around kind of decently pushing it on the first lap, and then he kind of turns to me as we're coming towards the line. And he says, "Is that all right, man? Do you want me to go faster?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he guns it then the second lap.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's a great experience, isn't it?
Oh, an awesome experience, you know.
And the beach.
Absolutely, the beach is awesome.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful beach.
Anyway, that's enough of dreaming to be in there, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Wouldn't be Simcade without a bit of kind of a
usually it's food, isn't it? Usually it's food. We haven't spoken about food in the past couple of weeks, probably for very good reasons, because then we get far too hungry and need food.
Now, what's something we should be talking about is Extinct
Gibbo.
here. He closed that 2-second gap to the front two. He's now right on the back of Mons here. Gibbo has gone into the lead, so there's actually a three-way battle for the lead here. Very, very impressive stuff from Extinct to come through from 5th to 3rd and close that gap.
Yeah, Yuki's just saying that it's been to Daytona Beach and it is beautiful. I went to Daytona Beach as well, and the waves were like 6 foot high. It's crazy. I know this is going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. I started off in one place, and my parents were sort of, I don't know, half a mile down the beach. We'd moved that far because of the waves. It's brilliant. Anyway, back to racing. It's Cornish, I think, is one of the first top runners to pit, so he's going to capitalise on this, isn't he? He's got to get in within 22 seconds, which he does look like he is so far on them hard tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. He was closing a bit there on the exit of the long left-hander onto the back straight. He's keeping in touch with them. Those hard tyres are going to be a bit more of a struggle compared to when Extinct pits on those mediums. But obviously, Gibbo and Mons will be in the same boat as Cornish. Let's see if either of them come in. They both come into the pits now.
Yeah,
so
I'm on board with these top three, all in the pits. I'm on board with them. Let's see. I mean, I'm on board with Extinct. I think he's going to be the more interesting one because he's at the back of this three-way battle for the top spots. Let's see if they can service that Aston Martin, get him in and out. And I think he has jumped one of them. If not both of them. Oh, no, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, it did look like he did.
Very confusing there.
He did. The car looked like he was still there.
Absolutely. There was a bit of a kind of an odd thing on my screen.
Yeah.
But I'd say, looking at his pace so far, he did have a struggle on the curb there. I think he's dropped about a half a second in total there. But he'll definitely be one to watch. He was fastest on those hard tyres with that fastest lap at the moment. So definitely one to watch. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3, absolutely. I believe that's...
AlphaTauri? Golf. His golf's around, yes. He must have picked up damage because he's going to head into the pit lane.
Yes, along with Danny. Danny also in the pits. Onto another set of mediums and a wing. So maybe there was a bit of trouble between Golf and Danny there. But
maybe I'm sure the stewards will be getting something... here, we haven't seen many incidents, but yellow flag sector 1. Has somebody dropped it out the pit lane? No, it's a Ferrari. It's Mitch.
Not a lot of multiple car incidents. A lot of kind of single car incidents. So it seems to be more racing with yourself than racing against others. Jack bringing those tires really long, as is Paulie Belair. They're the only two who haven't stopped yet. With 2 stops for Rosa, August, and Golf Maniac.
Yeah, Jack, 16 laps on them hard tyres. That's from the start of the Grand Prix. Same with Rosa and August. They pit at the beginning as Cornish is finding some pace, them hard tyres. Is it the right tyre strategy? I'm not sure, really, is it?
It'll be an interesting one to see. Cornish on those hard tyres, he's going to struggle. He'll try and keep in the slipstream and the DRS of Extinct, but I'd say it'll be a bit of a struggle to keep tabs with them. I definitely think Extinct could be looking for a real good job here. He's closed that kind of gap that did open up when he had trouble with the curb there earlier. He's now right coming up to the back of Mons again, so it'll be in a couple of laps now. There will be a big battle. We'll see who comes out on top.
Jack has just jumped into the pits. He's dropped down a couple of places. Yeah, I think Craig. I know that Goldstein's on for this. He does dive out the way anyway. I think he's sort of died off a bit. I was expecting great things, and I think he's just sort of...
I think he had a couple of incidents there earlier, and it's just he's struggling now. And with it being a lap down on this game is quite challenging because you're dodging and dipping and diving from
yellow
cars
flag
to
sector 1 again. That's the Ferrari round again.
Unfortunately, I think it's Mitch again. Yeah, he's having a mare time as well, or similar to William the King. Hopefully, he keeps going until the end. But yeah, not having the best of days, unfortunately.
No, he did say that fatigue was sort of settling in a bit, which, yeah, it's not nice as...
Absolutely, a bit of unfortunate. Someone to look for here is Rob. He's keeping within... well, he will be in the points once Polly pits here. He's keeping on the back of what I think is a really competitive train. So Rob really kind of hitting the ground running here. I know he missed a couple of races, but he's definitely happy enough here. Definitely one of his best performances so far.
Well, he was away, wasn't he, for a couple of races, so...
Yeah,
nice
he was away in
back.
Australia, I believe, and then he came back last week and had a bit of a spin, and just it wasn't gelling for him. But I think he's showing what he's made of now. Polly pulling these tyres a bit longer than you'd expect here. So it'll be very interesting to see. Rob will be looking for a way past him, but obviously they're on similar tyres. So
it's 12, 13 laps there on these tyres, but he has boxed, though, hasn't he? No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. This
Rob
is
has
lap
boxed,
1.
Yes.
Yep. Polybilar hasn't, though, so he is, like you said, dragging them hard tyres all the way within an inch of their life, or millimetres.
Rob going deep on that corner before the straight, just to get the best exit he could, and he's got that wing open, going around the outside of Polybilar here. But Polly isn't taking it lying down. He's definitely giving him a challenge. But I think Rob
gets that moved on there, Rob, though.
Exactly, with the newer tyres. And
time to catch up to Footy if he can. Put on a bit of pressure.
Absolutely. Didn't think I'd be saying that, you know.
No.
Rob catching up to Footy.
Gibbo has just pulled out the fastest lap of the race so far, and he's pulled out at 8/10 from Mons, so something's working for Gibbo. It's a yellow flag sector 1 and 2.
Danny went around, unfortunately, in the Alpine again. Just the two Alpines not too happy here, unfortunately.
No.
Both Danny and William. Just not their day, unfortunately, by the looks of it.
I have to say with the American tracks that they do like a bit of a left right, don't they? If you look at the the end of sector 1 before you hit the hairpin, I said hairpin, the long sweeping left-hander. It's that it's the sort of weavy corners that the American tracks like.
It's like they went to Silverstone and stole someone's homework, you know. Kind of the first sector here, and absolutely the first sector in Kota as well is kind of similar thing.
That's what it sort of reminded me of is that sort of Kota feel, isn't it? You know,
absolutely
forever. So it makes me. It's like a roller coaster, isn't it? That sector. It's just so windy.
It is, and what I find is there's only one line through it, and if you don't hit that one line, you mess yourself up for those the following corners, and it just all goes to pot then. It's similar in Jeddah in the first sector as well, where if you don't get that one perfect line through, you're compromising almost exponentially each corner. Your line.
Oh, that's a far too intelligent word for the commentary box here at Simcade.
Exponentially. It's bigger than marmalade.
Oh man, as up the inside there for Mons on Gibbo. Gibbo a bit
X-Book overtake. Gibbo had a kind of a mare of a lap there last time, so he'll definitely be looking to try and overtake. Extinct keeping tabs with these front two within half a second now almost. So he's definitely not. He's not challenging them. I think he's just sitting in the air, and then once there's a bit of battling, he might try and pounce.
Yep, and I'm shocked this has been a caution-free race so far. I think it's there's another car around. Is that Craig or Polybilar? Polybilar's just lost out to Cornish Mountains.
I believe it was Craig actually.
Was it Craig?
Polybilar into the pits.
Oh, into the pits. Yes. So sorry, apologies.
Craig just went round on the back straight almost just as he was coming onto it.
It has been sort of everybody just being their own worst enemies, hasn't it? Really.
Absolutely. It seems to be
over the
very, very challenging track. So I suppose, everyone just kind of it's as I say earlier, just racing themselves more than racing other people. Now, obviously, we have the front three, but apart from that, it's just kind of surviving more than thriving.
Yeah, like sector 1 as well. Is that a Williams around?
That's a Red Bull around.
It's Jack's around.
Jack.
Oh, he was on for that, and that's going to bring out the safety car. It is.
It is.
Ooh,
incredible.
Okay.
That is going to completely change the look of this race.
And it looks like Gibbo and Extinct. Oh,
incredible.
Wait,
no, yes. Gibbo and Cornish are in. Now that will really, really change stuff because Ninja is only coming around the last corner now. So I think those two will get on their softs before
Ninja's in as well. I think they must have been in the perfect place there.
And that
I think
is
Mons...
really, really interesting. Mons and Extinct, as you were going to say, I bet,
are
really going to be messed up here completely.
I don't know if Mons had passed it And then Gibbo just decided to dive in, and Extinct thought, do you know what, I think I must stay out. He might actually come to regret that.
I think so. I think Gibbo is probably looking the most happy here now. It is a way up on one of those. Now, it'll obviously be a kind of probably a 3-lap shootout almost by the end, will it?
It will be. The only saving grace that I can say for the top 2 right now is the medium tyres are okay.
They are all right. They are all right, but
they're not a slouch compared to the hards. If it was hards against softs, then we could be seeing a Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
Absolutely, but with not much racing laps left, I think those softs will be very, very competitive.
Yep.
They'll just give a little more confidence for those on them. Now, we do have a back marker in the front view. I think that is Danny C, I believe.
Yeah.
Between Extinct and behind Extinct and in front of Gibbo. Correct, so that will be interesting to see. I'm not sure if they're ghosted on their screens, but
no, they don't ghost until the race is restarted. So Yuki's driving the safety car, just to let you know. He's the man in the safety car tonight.
Doing a mighty job.
Oh, that wonderful Mercedes AMG.
Mon's even having a look of the inside of Yuki in the safety car
there. So he reckons that Mons is screwed. So I don't know.
Not what I would have said, but he's definitely not. Yeah, I think Craig just being a lap down, he's not too happy with it. And once you're a lap down in this game, you can't really catch up with everyone.
Yep.
And I think Danny will be in the same boat, but I think he's just trying to bring it to the end, even if he's down in 16th. But that will really help people like Mitch who are really struggling.
Whilst we hit a lull and we wait for everybody to catch up with the safety car, because I think it's going to take a lap or 2 maybe. I know the game doesn't like to end on the safety car, and it won't end on the safety car. So we will get back to some normal racing. I think we get at least 3 laps of racing. But guys, don't forget to like and follow the page if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing. We do stream most evenings, usually around about 7 UK time. So if you want to come and check us out, then you know where we are. Also, if you want to check out the website, I know that Ninja's not here, so I shall post it if I can. Then obviously you can see what we're doing when we're doing it and how we are doing it, if that works. They're going to work if the bot decides to do anything. And obviously that there has our link to Discord as well, if it's going to come up. No, it's not. I thought it was going to come up.
It appears our front runners are on mediums, obviously, but only Mantis or I think it's just Mantis now, because Golf has come in and pitted and got rid of those hards. So it is literally just Mantis and our top 2 on mediums. Everyone else on softs. Beautiful new softs.
As the rest of the pack is, just closing up now. So we should get some racing.
Interesting thing about these softs. Everyone's softs here are scrubbed softs, bar Rosa. Rosa, I know, likes to save a set of softs. Yep. Only does 2 laps in qualifying, just to keep a new set of softs for situations like this. Under safety car, he'll have just that little edge on everyone else off the line. Once the safety car does end, I think we'll be going for another lap, because we have a few cars still going around the track. We have Golf only going through into Sector 3 now.
The longer this drags out, the longer this plays into the hands of the soft runners, because they are able to keep them tyres. They're easy to warm up, and you're not using a lot of the wear as you're going around.
Obviously, they're not as easy as the hards to light up. Not as hard as the hards to light up.
Rosa and August are back in the pit lane there.
Interesting, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure. Is Rosa probably retiring?
No, it's just another set of softs.
Interesting. Not sure why that would be, but yeah, that's an odd one. That's put him down just in front of Mitch, actually, which is an odd one.
Maybe, I don't know, nothing really much to lose there, did he? He was sort of middle of the pack, mid to bottom end of the pack, so he's now got a dead set, brand new set of softs.
Yeah, that 5 place grid penalty, not really getting rid of itself, unfortunately. Just not one of those ones it's probably a race to forget for him.
Now I'm going to hold my hands up to the sky and say that we should resume racing.
I would assume so. As golf is coming up to the back of a pack now, it will be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yep, it will be. So we will hit the Sector 3 line in a second, and hopefully it'll come up saying, guys, you can start racing in a minute.
Absolutely. And once the Cornish and Gibbo get past that lapped car, they will be looking on Extinct and Monza's rear end pretty quickly. We'll have, I believe, is it 5 laps or 4 laps? My maths isn't particularly good.
There we go. Safety car is in this lap, so we will have
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 5 laps indeed. So 5 laps of racing, 5 laps sprint for these boys. We'll see how it turns out.
As Mons is definitely backing up this pack. He wants everybody as close to everybody as possible. Try and catch these lot napping on the last corner, but he also wants to let that safety car get well and truly into the pit lane.
And I know from following Mons under safety car, he does like to bring them all the way to the line almost. So he's still holding them. He still hasn't gone. He's past the pit entry now.
Yeah, and he's gone.
Now he goes first.
Yeah, you see, that's nice tactic, that, isn't it? Hold everybody for as long as they possibly can, and then go.
Extinct has lit up those tires pretty quickly as well. Gibbo not as quick a start as he'd like. He's already a second down. Not lighting up those softs as quick as you'd expect, but I don't think he'll be completely...
Yellow flag Sector 1.
Absolutely. I think that was Polly Belair struggling in Sector 1. But those soft runners not getting the greatest start. I think they were just caught napping. But Gibbo right on the back of Extinct now, really getting use out of those softs. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think we have DRS for another couple of laps yet.
No, it's Footy has just taken Simi there, and Roz has made his way back up to P9, so them softs around the inside there from Gibbo. Did he manage to get that move? No,
he didn't, unfortunately. I think there was a bit of defending there from Mons because Extinct was having a look. But I think, Cornish right on the back of this as well. I'm actually really impressed. And I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out.
So this is another one we were talking about last week, is attack and defend. What do you do? Obviously, you want to move him forward as always, but you've got to be wary of the person behind you.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at the ERS stores of these top 4, and the front 2 on the mediums using up their energy stores a lot more than the back 2 with the soft tires on. So I wonder, once they drain their energy stores a bit more, will Gibbo and Cornish pounce on them?
Thank you very much, Yuki. I just spotted my spelling mistake when I was spelling website. That's why the bot didn't work. Silly me. I spelled website wrong. But he's corrected me, so thank you. And as you were saying, hoping a bit more of an attack from Gibbo here. I think he's just waiting to the...
so far.
I'd say waiting patiently, because Extinct, as we know, is going to be pushing like absolute crazy to keep up with Mons. So maybe we're just looking for a mistake, as everybody is in the winding section, all in one straight caterpillar line.
Absolutely, and both Mons and Extinct down to 30% on their ERS, whereas Gibbo and Cornish, they're keeping in touch with them, but they have 70% on their ERSs, both. Yep. So very impressive saving from these guys. I think they're just biding their time.
Extinct, that's allowed Gibbo right on the rear wing of that.
Absolutely, and as they come down the back straight here now, they'll be coming around the last corner, and once they do, they get DRS for that lap.
Yep.
And for the next couple of laps. So I think that will be the chance now for Gibbo and Cornish to have a look. But Cornish just falling back a little. Ninja also falling back just to Footy, surprisingly. So Footy really liking this restart.
Diving up the inside there from Cornish. I feel like Gibbo had a bit of a terrible exit there.
Horrendous exit, and that has left him vulnerable probably to Footy by the end of it. Footy is really pushing here. Very impressive.
He is. As Simi has just lost out another place there from Cornish Mantis, but it does look like they're still quite close on the track. 8/10 covers the top 3 currently.
I think Cornish will be the one to watch. He's right on the back of Extinct now as they come to the back straight. They'll have DRS up the back here now, so we'll see I think he'll have Extinct pretty easily along here. Extinct using all of his ERS, and he has DRS off of Mons. So Cornish probably won't have anything up the back straight here.
He's going to go around the outside. He does make that move as well.
Oh no, I think it's Mons Cornish. Still, this is just a bit confusing with the
It is. Apologies. Getting overexcited.
Getting a bit excited, yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry.
No, you're fine. Oh, there's a big slide there from Cornish, and that's put Gibbo on the outside. Those soft runners really struggling for some reason. I think they're cold or something. But the medium runners getting away now again. It's really, really surprising that the mediums seem to be more comfortable here.
He is around the inside.
And Mon's going for the lead, and he's just about got him.
There is Extinct. Oh, they both have a bit of a slide there.
Extinct has almost a rally slide through the hairpin. And that's really, I think, letting Mons out. A nice gap of 6/10 he's gotten him now. Very, very interesting.
His Roz has made his way back up into P8 as well with his good friend Cornish and August in front of him. His Footy was the one that I think went around. He was making that obviously massive push on them wonderful soft tyres, and I think he's just sort of died off a bit.
Pushed him a bit too hard, I think, unfortunately. Now, those soft tyres, as I said, aren't really doing as much as I expected, unfortunately. Now, Gibbo back into the DRS zone again of Extinct. Horrendous exit from Extinct, actually. He's right on the back of him here. Incredible stuff. I think he'll have him down into the left-hander here. Mons is a complete sitting duck. Extinct, having a look on the outside, but I think he's just
nice defense, but
Gibbo on the left. Mons is out of energy as well on the ERS. Gibbo having a look on the inside. He thinks better of it and tucks in for the chicane. He'll be looking real good down the straight here. He's having a look on the outside of Extinct again. Doesn't want Mons to get away here, but Mons is opening up a bit of a gap.
So the four-way battle for P1 is still on, as it looks like Gibbo is going to tuck in right behind Extinct there.
They both have the DRS down here. Mons might be a bit in trouble again.
Who's later on the brakes?
It seems to be Extinct, but he's too late on the brakes, and he goes a bit deep, and that's left him vulnerable to Cornish as well on the exit. He might have a bit better drive on the exit down the start-finish straight.
Hip, thanks for joining us. A bit late to the show, but better late than never, as always, isn't it?
Absolutely, most definitely. So Gibbo looking to be, on this final lap here, looking to be the favourite. There's a car around at the back, I think. It's unfortunately Danny again.
Yeah.
And a few other cars around as well. I think the August, so there might have been an incident there.
There is a car as DNF in the pit lane. It's Rosa has had enough of whatever. So something must have happened.
Now, Gibbo having a look at the back of Mons here. He's 4/10 in it. Just
Cornish has picked up a 5-second penalty for gaining place.
Interesting. I'd say that might be repealed from the stewards. But Gibbo closing down on Mons here. It's going to be big. He's tucking in. I think he's just going to hold for the back straight. He's literally 2/10 behind Mons here. It's incredible stuff. I'm actually not sure who's going to win this. They're what is it? Line. I can't remember the line, but Gibbo is right on the back of him here. 4/10, 5/10. He's not had the best exit, but he's in the slipstream. He's gaining. DRS down the back straight. He's out of energy. Is Mons? Mons is also out of energy. They're both on 1%. Who's later on the brakes? Gibbo on the inside.
Oh, it's another dash to the last corner.
Clash. I'm actually not sure. It's Gibbo. Gibbo's gonna get it. Just on the line.
Whoa.
Oh my god. 0.097. That's incredible.
That was and has been exciting since we started this Grand Prix, but congratulations to Gibbo who takes P1 there, and as everybody else crosses the line on what has been a very exciting Miami again, like you were saying, Lance, it's one to see.
Absolutely, it's definitely one for the spectators. It's probably not one for the drivers, but definitely one for those top three. That was a big battle, awesome battle, and I think Gibbo, just with that good strategic choice, going on to those softs.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a tap there from Gibbo, but again, not malicious. It didn't look like he was out to get anybody. But everybody in the chat's like exploding, saying what a race, and Yuki, what a finish. Definitely Gibbo did deserve that one. He's been on point today throughout the whole of the Grand Prix. Let's just run you through the grid And there's Gibbo finishes P1. Behind him, P2's Mons, and Extinct P3. A bit unfortunate there in the last stint there. With Ninja picking up P4 is fantastic.
Absolutely. Now, maybe that might be on the balance. We'll have to see whether that 5-second penalty stands, because I think it was for overtaking under yellow flags. That may not be... it could have been someone's spawn, so we'll have to have a look in that.
We'll see then. We're with Cornish Mantis P5, P6 with Simi, Footy, Golf, and Mitch rounding up the top 10 with Jack, Rob, Polyblar, August. Who else do we have then at the back of the grid? With our DNFs of Rosa, Danny, Craig, and William the King. So we'll jump down to the podium channel and speak to our top 3.
Absolutely.
There we go. We'll see who we get. Okay, Cornish in chat straight away saying he's going to get that 5-second penalty removed straight away for the Eagle Overtake on Extinct.
I figured that, yes. I think it was just someone had spun or something, but it could have been, I think, Extinct maybe just causing some sort of yellow flag, but we'll see what happens there. Extinct thinks he'll go to the thinks Cornish will go to the podium, but I don't think so. Actually, he may do so. The 7.4 seconds is what he was behind the leaders.
It is. Yeah, you're right. As we wait for the top 3 to join us, it is interesting, and that could stir things up, but obviously that will be decided after the Grand Prix. Nothing gets decided right now.
Absolutely. And I believe our third finisher, who was it? Was Extinct, was it?
It was, yeah.
Absolutely. And
I think he feels that he's settling with P4, but that's not the case. Right, well, as we've got Gibbo here, we'll start the interviews. Gibbo, what a fantastic qualifying and race from yourself there. It's nice to have you back up in P1. I wouldn't say it's unexpected, but absolute blinder of Grand Prix. Question from me, did that setup help you?
What setup?
You know what I'm on about.
No. I didn't use that setup. I used my own setup, to be honest, today.
Oh,
I did
sure,
ask. I did ask. I spoke to Dan about earlier, and he's used the setup, but I didn't. When I was there yesterday, I didn't enjoy the setup, to be honest. It was probably a quick setup. I didn't enjoy it, but it was a great race, to be honest.
Is that the track for you then? Is that the one that you like the most, or is it just one that?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Miami, absolutely love it.
It is an exciting track. Difficult. Obviously, you're coming side by side with Mons into the last couple of corners. What was going through your mind there? Was it sort of, I'm going to take P1 or anything, or is it, let's just both get through this together?
Try not to spin and tap him, to be honest. No, when it was coming to the final corner at the hairpin, I saw him flashing earlier in the lap and the lap before, so I knew I had an ERS advantage. It was just a case of use all of it down that back straight. As soon as I passed him with DRS, I left the space on the inside for him because I didn't know if he was going to dive bomb or anything. But if he was, I was going to try and do a cutback, but I didn't see him dive bomb straight away.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of try and go up the gears and just try and get a safe exit and beat him to the line. And I think it was very, very, very close towards the line.
0.07 or 0.097 was the gap, I believe.
Oh no, it's absolutely sublime racing by himself.
So
I know
close.
he did message earlier saying that he might have dive bombed a little bit, but I think it was fair game. He had the inside line. But no, it's absolutely sublime racing by top 5, I think, actually, because Ninja was there for quite a lot of it.
Absolutely, he was keeping tabs with you. My thought was that at the time was that you won the race once you'd come in for those softs with Cornish. What led you to come in when the front 2 had gone keeping those mediums?
To be fair, I think for the front 2 it was a little bit. Well, I don't know if it's too late for them to come in. Because for me it was very last second. It was just I'd done before I thought. Because I as soon as I saw safety car come up, I was like straight into the pits for softs. And then when I was in the pits, I was like, "Is this the right idea? I don't know if I've messed up here."
I think you had a good enough gap behind to make it work.
When I came back out in P3, it was I knew then it was like a good gamble.
That the win was on the cards. And absolutely, it was an amazing strategic decision, and it was harder than I thought it would be to get you up into the top step, but you made it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Mighty job.
Yeah, congratulations, Gibbo. Well deserved. Mons, onto yourself. Really good qualifying, close at the top. There, the race. Obviously, you're pushed all the way with Gibbo, Extinct, Cornish, and a couple of others behind. Was that as interesting for you as it was for us?
Yeah, I love this race. Pushing all the way through. I think I had a bit higher wings, so I had to really use my ERS on the straight to stay ahead. But it was a fantastic race, literally coming down to the last corner.
So obviously we've heard from Gibbo saying that it looked like it was a bit too close for you to hit for the safety car. But what was sort of going through your mind? Was it that sort of like, that's going to be race over, it's ruined? Did it screw you over, or how did that feel?
I mean, to be honest, I'm used to it now. It happened the last 2 races also. A late safety car, and I had to stay out on mediums. So it was like I just had to do what I've done the last 2 weeks. Try to push as hard as I can to stay ahead.
How much of a difference do those mediums make when you find that other people are on those softs? How messed up is your race when you're on the older tires?
Yeah, I think it's pretty bad. I had understeer compared to the guys behind, so I didn't really get the best exit out of the corners.
Yeah, I can imagine, and definitely that last corner, unfortunately, was the big corner, and unfortunately that you didn't get the drive you wanted out of there.
Yeah.
So that's
well, you managed to fend them off for the first 3 or 4 laps after the safety car had gone in, and then all of a sudden, I'm guessing them tyres just run the course, and the softs had come back into a bit of an element again, because it looked like they were struggling to the soft runners.
I don't know if they were struggling, but yeah, I was definitely struggling on my mediums. Understeer every corner, like I said, and also I didn't have any ERS for the last 2 laps.
Yeah, I noticed that. Was that a strategic decision to try and get all your ERS out first and kind of build a gap if you could, or was that just trying to stay in front for throwing it all out there?
Yeah, it was more to stay in front, because I knew if I would fall behind, I would never be able to get past again. So I just had to stay ahead and try to push as hard as I could.
Yeah, absolutely, that makes sense.
Congratulations on that P2 there, Mons. Well deserved, and definitely one for the fans, that one. Extinct in the podium again. You seem to be making a bit of a habit of this. You are another one of the ones that sort of got caught out by that safety car, but you got pushed all the way from Gibbo, Mons and Cornish. Take us through it, because it looked exciting.
Like it started on hard, so like I got a horrible start, and then I was stuck behind Ninja for like a few laps. Then I overtook him, and then I caught up to the 3, and looked like Cornish was on medium struggling, so overtook him, and then I tried to stick with them 3, but those 2 of them, but they were pretty quick, to be honest, so I couldn't really stick with them. But after the pit stops, also like on the pit exit, I had some wheel spin and I lost some time, so tried to recover it back, and then after that, like the safety car came out, like it came out right when I passed like the pit lane entry thing, so I thought I couldn't pit, so I just continued on because I thought I get penalized or something, so I just continued on. And then the soft sides, like they were really fast, and like every time I tried to defend, I had to attack on Mans, because like as he told, he was running high downforce, so he was so on the straight, so it was annoying that I had to fight and defend at the same time. But at the end, like on the last like penultimate lap, like I got boxed in between those 2, so I couldn't do anything, and then I just stayed behind. And then Cornish was like really close to me, and then I was like feeling a lot of pressure, so I just made a mistake. And then I hit Cornish, and he got a 5-second penalty, but he finished ahead of me, so I think he'll report that and get the 5-second removed.
So obviously, when the pit lane you were sort of the honest man then. You'd already gone past the sort of start of the white line. If it was any other time, maybe a second or so, you probably would have dived into the pits then. So it's kind of a hindrance, really, isn't it? But you did put the pressure on Mons as well, which is good to see. But yeah, you lost out to them boys at the front. It's a bit sad, really.
Suboptimal. What is it? Suboptimal qualifying, and then the start losing a place to Ninja. What kept your head in the game for that? Once you were in fifth, what kept your head in the game to catch up to those leaders? How did you keep calm and that sort of thing?
I mean, the hards felt terrible on the first lap, and the high fuels made the car really heavy, and I was like understeering everywhere. So once I got ahead of Ninja, I was pretty calm, and then I was pretty sure I could build a 1 second gap since his mediums were wearing off, and I saw Cornish, Mans, and Gibbo were fighting ahead, so I thought I could catch up with them. So I tried like pushed every single lap, and like when I thought I was close enough to like push and get the DRS, I just pressed DRS like for the whole lap and just pushed, and then I caught up to them. But after that, it was like pretty much stuck in a train.
Yeah, absolutely, and that push was incredible. I didn't expect it. When I looked first, you were about 2.7 seconds back, and when I looked again, you were in DRS. So it was a really, really impressive push on those hard tires, especially if they were as slidey as you mentioned.
Yeah, I had really low wings, and I was really struggling in the first sector, like especially because low wings and there is not good. So like only after like exit of turn 2, I like used to slide the car a lot, and in qualifying also I lost it there on one of my runs. So I was pretty like not that confident in sector 1, but sector 2 and 3 sort of at like last corner exit wasn't that good of mine due to like low wings and stuff, but I still managed somehow. But it was not easy to manage those low wings.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose you made it work in the end, and got P4 or P3 actually. I think. I'm losing it. But as you said, I think what is it? Cornish will get it under penalties, I think, or penalties removed. But no, a mighty job. Great racing, and I was really impressed with that push. That was awesome.
Yeah, all I can say is congratulations to all three of you. That made for a very exciting race. So thank you very much, and hope to see you again here very, very soon.
Cheers, gents.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Good luck.
We'll just move back up to the commentary channel quickly. There we go. We had, was it last week we had somebody hang around? Was it Rosa? Hang around?
I think so, yeah.
In the chat. It's very funny. So, yeah, well, that has concluded a fantastic week of racing here at Simcade again. Yeah, as Yuki's just pointed out, next week, obviously, is Imola. This is an absolutely fantastic track. I'll just quickly find what tracks were running all week. I don't know if I can find it anymore.
I believe it's Interlagos in the GT7, and in ACC it is going to be Barcelona.
Oh, Barcelona. That's a very nice track.
That's very, very interesting week, actually. That's going to be a nice week.
It is.
Lots of flowing tracks.
So we start off Barcelona with ACC on Tuesday. Well, no, sorry. Monday will be Imola for the F2. Don't forget to hit up that. That'll be POV stream with Ninja. And then obviously on Tuesday we hit ACC at Barcelona. And then what was Wednesday, sorry, on GT7?
It is Interlagos.
Interlagos, fantastic track there. And then straight back to Imola for the F1 on Thursday. Don't forget to check us out. Like I said, we're an exciting end to a week of racing. Thank you very much to all our viewers. Thank you very much to all our drivers and winners, of course, for this week's races, and thank you very much, Lance, for being with me.
No worries, and thank you for commentating.
Oh, no,
great race.
You did more of that than I did, especially your last 2 lap rundown was exciting. You know, yeah, it's brilliant to have everybody here, and thank you very much, Yuki, for another wonderful week with us. Because you're the main man in the chat. But yeah,
absolutely.
No, but from everybody here at Simcade, hope to see you back next week. Thank you very much, Lance, and thank you very much, everybody else, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.